Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 3, we talk with Kris Barney of DART, Community Advocate. And before we get started, you and I, Kris, have had, I'd say, a good half a dozen conversations in our past. Butterflies are highly significant to you for a reason. And you and I spoke last Saturday at the Freedom 13 conference they had for women. And we're inside Temple. So I'm thinking, how is a butterfly going to show up in this situation? We've had butterflies appear when we did a show at Bikesmith Front Window. Well, after I left you, I just so happened to be driving by this place and this place, Butterfly Gardens. So if you would, set us up. What's up with the butterflies, and let other people know why it's so important for you.
Right. Well, when my daughter Miranda was killed by my ex-husband in the throes of domestic violence, I chose the butterfly as a symbol for her. It always seemed like every time I felt her presence, a butterfly would appear. And butterflies, to me, are a sign of transformation, because when Miranda died, she was transformed. And when she died, I too was transformed. And besides the fact that they're so beautiful and they're fun to watch, that has always been a symbol that she's with me. She's with me and that she's near. So every time we're together, Rick, I swear if a butterfly starts flitting around.
Well, it's a Ruston Butterfly Garden, and we happen to be on the corner of Georgia and North Vienna. It's real, it's raw, it's live out here on the street, because the issues that we talked about with DART are very real. Last month was Stalking Awareness Month. This month, the month of February, and you'll be having an article that will be coming out in the Ruston Daily Leader later on in the month, and it's talking about teen dating violence.
That's right.
So set us up with that.
Okay. Well, February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, and what DART likes to do is we like to educate our teens on what dating violence looks like. I will be speaking at Alpha Chi Omega sorority this coming Sunday, February 6th, about teen dating violence and the signs to look for. I also have an article coming out that kind of gives the signs that parents can look for if they think that their child is in the throes of a domestic violence situation. So that's February is going to be chock full of great statistics and information about teen dating violence.
So please share this message. It's Kris Barney, Community Advocate for DART, willing to go anywhere, any place, at any time to speak to your church, yes to your youth group, yes to your civic organization. Teen Violence Awareness Month, but it's more like controlling. And I mean, it's a real fine line, and the line's not in a good place. So, I mean, well, maybe my daughter is not being hurt physically, but she can be possibly being controlled.
Absolutely. So, one of the first signs of teen dating violence, and most people don't look at this as violence, but it is, it's part of the whole situation, is having her, she's being controlled if her partner wants to have all of her passwords to her social media. If he doesn't let her hang out with her friends, that's a big deal. You know, we ladies are very social. We have large groups of friends, most of us, but when they start having control over who you can see, then that's a big red flag of teen dating violence. Also, not just the obvious of physical abuse, but the mental, emotional control is what is a huge sign. Then usually what follows is the physical abuse.
So if you have any questions and or comments or concerns being a parent and or a friend, encourage them, whomever that may be, to speak up, to ask the questions, and I would say, and you could always correct me, to ask those that know, like such as yourself, such as DART, as opposed to just their peer friends.
Exactly. I want to share this statistic.
Sure.
Less than 25% of teenagers have or feel comfortable having a conversation with their parents about dating violence or their relationship in general. And the largest group of those that are affected are young women between the ages of 16 and 24. That's the largest group. And, also men and boys can also be victims of domestic violence or dating violence as well. And so...
Same gender relationships.
Same gender, that's exactly right. All of it is still considered, dating violence. On average, 1 in 3 adolescents in the U.S. is a victim of physical, sexual, emotional abuse from a dating partner. And...
Say that again.
Yep. On average, 1 in 3 adolescents in the U.S. is a victim of physical, sexual, emotional, or verbal abuse from a dating partner. Yes, that is... And I mean...
By the way, and I would qualify that saying, on average, and of those statistics that we know about.
Right. I read an article yesterday in some of my training that 1.5 million teenagers are affected by dating violence in our nation. 1.5 million. That's a lot. So here, I encourage parents to look for signs of domestic violence or dating violence with their children, and that would be, weight loss, isolation, being bombarded with, if they notice their child's being bombarded with texts and phone calls. Because that's another thing. Enormous amounts of texts and phone calls. That's not healthy, and that's not normal. Low self-esteem, drug abuse, or even if parents notice a difference in their typical behavior, like if they do things that are out of character, that's a big red flag.
Kris Barney, a community advocate for DART. By the way, the number to call, 888-411-1337, 888-411-1337. Again, I think we say this every episode here. Violence, domestic violence, relationship violence, controlling, is a respecter of no person, no age, no race, no color, no creed. Matter of fact, this is the equal opportunity destroyer.
Absolutely, it sure is. And it does not discriminate. It does not matter what your economic level is in our community. Everybody deserves respect and a healthy relationship, regardless of anything. And that's what's important. Even our children deserve to be educated. And that's another thing I really want to bring this up as well. Sure. DART recently came across an article from the legislative auditor of Louisiana, and it is actually state mandated in Louisiana that our schools teach domestic violence to our students. And that is so important, but we're not really doing that.
I hear you. I was going to go there too. I would think by the way, DART serves 8 parishes.
7 parishes.
7 parishes. Yes. So it's not just Lincoln Parish, although the home office here in Ruston and Lincoln Parish. If you need any help in any of the other parishes, how can we help out to maybe get that information out in such a critical resource such as high schools and grammar schools?
Exactly. Like I said, 16 to 24, we really should, and I think it actually states in the audit that 7th to 12th graders need to have this education. And I'm not talking that sex education. I am talking how to recognize interpersonal partner intimate relationships and the red flags and the dangers, and how to escape and get out safely. Because believe it or not, our children are being affected by interpersonal relationship violence. And it's important, I think, as parents that we educate our children, we educate ourselves so that we can open up a conversation.
Well, that's what this is all about, is A, to create awareness, and then to create the interest and desire, because let's get real, you know as well as I, you are the front line. DART is that there is a tremendous amount of guilt, there is a tremendous amount of shame, there is a tremendous amount of, maybe remorse, but a reluctance to open their mouth. So let's encourage that conversation.
Absolutely. I think, and kids these days are bombarded with social media, and it affects their self-esteem. And I think if we open up a conversation, in DART, we have an amazing children's advocate. We have a wonderful counselor, Erica McFarland and Donna Bernard. Our office is a safe place, a safe space for our children, our teenagers, to open up and share their experiences without judgment or retribution. They can share their most intimate thoughts and get to safety if they need it.
You know, here's something else too. I think it needs to be said too. Anonymous calls are welcome.
Absolutely.
Because we all have a friend of a friend who may have a friend of a friend, and they make the calls, ask the questions, and then you've also heard this, Kris. People don't really care how much you know till you know how much you care. So when you call anonymously with the questions, you'll hear the heart of concern and care at DART with Kris and or Donna and whomever else answers the phone.
Yeah, whoever else answers the phone.
That's
that is right. So.
All right, what else could we possibly say to make you to put you to work and then put you out of work?
Yeah.
Because we wish this issue, and it is so benign just to call it an issue. It's
right.
way more than that. But anyway, how can we help you help others?
Well, I am so willing to come speak to the schools, and Donna Bernard and I can partner together to come speak to your children, your organization, your youth group, anybody in the community who would like to have some information on domestic violence and teen dating violence. DART is available all the time, and I love this work. I've had my own experience with domestic violence, and DART served me back in 1999, and I'm very passionate about helping people.
Last year, I think you had a goal of getting 3 public engagements, and you exceeded that, I think, in the first week. You have a February goal?
Oh, gosh, let's see. I think for January, I only set like 2 engagements. I ended up with like 4.
Good. Wow.
And I think, I don't know, I would like to at least try for 5 or 6 for February.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, it's a big deal, teen dating violence, and I have a plethora of information that I would love to share.
Sure enough.
So.
Here's the flashlight that's willing to go into the darkness of the community to help those out there that may be lost and under a controlling issue. So let's take care of the situation. You all know what to do. Again, the phone number, 888-411-1337. Her name, Kris Barney. I'm Rick Godley. This is why you bookmark ATL-Ruston.com, ATL-Ruston.com, keeping you informed so you get involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Thanks. This is always a delight. I appreciate you so much.
There you go.